Okay, I'd like to call this regular city council meeting of February 7th to order. Tonight, the invocation is going to be done by Randy Bixby. Go ahead, sir.
Good evening. To invoke means to call out for help with earnest desire. Thank you for that opportunity. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we humbly ask for your help here tonight. For our elected officials as they make decisions that will direct the flow of the values and resources of the people of Surprise. As they shape the culture of our city, where our families, our friends, and our generations live, love, learn, work, and worship, with your help, may they be free from all deception, filled with your wisdom, and unafraid to govern with your righteousness and justice. May your kingdom come and your will be done in Surprise as it is in heaven. For blessed is the nation whose God is the Lord. Psalm 33:12. We ask these things in the mighty name of King Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Randy. Could I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mayor. Mayor Hall,
Here.
Vice Mayor Judd,
Here.
Councilmember Haney,
Here.
Councilmember Klein,
Here.
Councilmember Duffy,
Here.
Councilmember Remley,
Here.
Councilmember Hastings.
Here. Okay, tonight we're going to do the pledge, the Canyon Ridge Elementary School National Elementary Honor Society is going to lead us in the pledge. Okay?
We did it.
We did it.
1, 2, 3.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, you guys. Okay, tonight we have a proclamation on Teen Dating Violence Prevention Month. So if I'd like to join Assistant Chief Morin and Victims Advocate Carol Johnson right down here, and we'll read the proclamation. There you are. Whereas millions of youth in the United States have experienced psychological or physical aggression by an intimate partner, and whereas in 2023, MAG and its partners worked together on a webinar series addressing dating violence, which will be highlighted during this year's Teen Dating Violence Prevention Awareness Month. And whereas teen dating violence is believed to be widely underreported, and whereas the trauma and suffering caused by domestic violence destroys families, threatens the safety of neighborhoods, and weakens the ability of communities to thrive, and whereas the MAG Regional Council is dedicated to ensuring the safety of domestic violence survivors and holding abusers accountable. Now, therefore, I, Skip Hall, Mayor of the City of Surprise, do hereby proclaim February as Teen Dating Violence Prevention Awareness Month. Thank you. Okay, city manager report? No report? Okay. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Gina, did you want to introduce the students?
Yes, I will.
There's so please welcome Youth Administrator Gina Neria to introduce our student guests.
All right, thank you, Mayor and Council. I appreciate you. First, I want to thank Canyon Ridge Elementary School National Elementary Honor Society for coming and doing a tour, and you guys speaking. We went up to the 4th floor and did a quick tour of city managers and your offices, and then and also Miss Freeman. Thank you for scheduling and getting the kids here. And then I'd like to welcome up Jackson and Blair, who's the president and vice president of the National Elementary Honor Society, to come say a few words.
Okay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Blair Griesel.
And my name is Jackson Freeman. We are in the 5th grade at Canyon Ridge School and serve as president and vice president of the National Elementary Honor Society, or NEHS.
In this organization, we serve our school and community. We demonstrate leadership, responsibility, service, and scholarship, which are the 4 pillars of NEHS.
We help out our teachers and students by providing volunteer services and peer tutoring. We have been in this organization for 2 years.
In the past year, we have joined the Sunset Hills Elementary School in the Team Emery Miller Bear Drive and collected more than 750 stuffed animals for kids in the hospital. Currently, we are working on doing a paper drive to collect paper for teachers and staff.
In addition, we encourage our peers to follow the 4 pillars of NEHS and get involved in our school community. Each month, we complete 2 hours of service learning hours.
We also have gotten other kids to join, and interest in our organization is growing. To become a member, we have been nominated by our teacher and complete an application. Then we have to maintain A's and B's for the school year.
We are always looking for new ways to improve our community. One thing we would like you to consider is restoring the park at Sierra Montana. I visit this park often and am troubled by its decline. With minimal maintenance and manpower, this park could be actively used for youth and adult sports programming, and our NEHS students would be happy to help.
Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak this evening.
Very good. Good job.
And then can we take a quick picture with them up front here?
Sure.
So you guys can come up.
Huh?
All of you guys.
Yeah. Where's Holly? Oh, there she is. Yeah. Okay.
Jesus. I haven't seen you were like this tall last time I saw you under this table.
I know. Look how big he is now.
Your dad. When he worked for the recreation department. Tell your dad I said hello. I worked for his dad.
You work for his dad?
Yeah, in recreation.
Oh, cool.
Clint was awesome.
Oh yeah, get a little closer. There we go. Perfect. Hold on one more. Perfect. Thank
Great.
you. And then you guys are excused to leave if you're gonna stay.
Holly,
Please.
Holly, could you talk to these students about that and how they could maybe help? They'd like to help.
We'll schedule a time, yeah. Oh, or if you guys wanna, yeah. out
Great.
in the hallway. Mhm. So if you're gonna stay or if you wanna go with your parents. Okay, so next I have my youth council on the dais.
Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Oh, sorry.
nope,
I was
you're
just
good.
waiting. I'm sorry, I wanted to
I'll start.
introduce you.
Oh, wait.
I was just making sure that they were going out because Miss Holly was gonna go out there right now and talk to them. Awesome. Okay, so I have Brooke Wilkins. She's in 11th grade and over at Dysart High School, and she's been with us for a few years. She actually got to go to our conference, the NLC conference with us, and I'll let her speak right now. There you go.
Thank you, Gina. Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Brooke Wilkins, and this is my 3rd year in SYC and my 2nd time up on the dais. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak tonight. Some of our Surprise Youth Council members participated and supported Peoria's Youth Advisory Board and their teen debate night last Thursday. They modeled our event after ours, which they attended a few months ago. Teens had the opportunity to engage in civil discourse through picking a topic, preparing an educated statement, and working with other teens in discussion. Overall, we had a great time with our neighboring youth council. The Surprise Youth Council will be recruiting new members from February 14th through April 14th. During that time, teens that live and go to schools in Surprise and that are in 7th through 11th grades can submit applications on the city website. That is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and then next I have Annalisa Dixon, who's in 10th grade over at Shadow Ridge High School.
Right.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Annalisa Dixon, and this is my second year in the Surprise Youth Council, and this is my second time up on the dais. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak this evening. Youth Council members were given the opportunity to be judges of a new gallery presentation hosted by the Arts and Cultural Advisory Commission. The City Hall hallway currently is displaying students' work from all of the Dysart schools. This was very hard to judge with all of the great work presented. Two of our youth council committees interviewed Council Member Haney last week for our new Surprise Scoop Teen magazine and for a short video that we are putting together to help surprise teens to be more civically engaged. We hope to interview all council members soon to add to the video. That's all I have. Thank you.
Great. Good job. Thank you very much. How about a little applause for you? Okay, city clerk report.
Yes, Mayor, we have one item. The consideration and action to appoint appellant judge, the Honorable Brian Y. Baruya, to the Judicial Selection Advisory Commission to replace the retiring appellant judge, the Honorable Peter Swan, for the term of December 1st, 2022 to December 1st, 2025.
Okay. So this requires an action. So I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the named judiciary as mentioned by the clerk.
Second.
Second, we're already done.
Okay. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
Guess we
I was taking the shortcut.
was thrown off on what we were going on with that. Yeah, I was waiting for the.
I know.
Councilmember Klein.
I thought I voted. I apologize. Let me try that again.
I think green is good, so.
That's 7 yes votes.
All right, very good.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name for the record.
Brian Y. Baruya,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States
of the United States
and the laws
and the laws
of the state of Arizona,
of the state of Arizona,
that I will bear
that I will bear
true faith
true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
the same,
and defend them
and defend them
against all enemies
against all enemies
whatsoever,
whatsoever,
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
and impartially
impartially
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the position of
of the position of
and state Judicial Selection Advisory Commission.
Judicial Selection Advisory Commission
That is correct. According to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my abilities.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you so much. Congratulations.
All right. Very good. Very good. Brian, did you want to say anything or?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. I am very gratified to be here and to serve in this capacity. I am come to this by recommendation of Judge Swan, who served on this commission for quite some time. I am familiar with your area, and I hail from Flagstaff. That's where I call home. But I'm very glad to be here with you and to be of service.
Great.
If you don't have any questions for me, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there anybody that wants to speak to this body on a non-agendized item?
Yes, Mayor. We have Abby Walters wanting to speak tonight if she's here.
Okay.
Email.
She sent us by email the request form, so.
Oh, okay. So maybe she couldn't make it for some reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all we had.
All right. Very good. We have 12 items on the consent agenda. Is there anybody that wants to pull an item for clarification or questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Please cast your vote.
You want to do?
That's a unanimous yes vote, Mayor.
All right,
I also
very
like
good.
to note that all the liquor licenses have been approved.
Very good.
Have Fat Cats if you're here. The liquor license has been approved.
Is Fat Cats here?
I don't know.
Oh.
Just say.
Okay, item number 13.
The presentation discussion pertained to the City of Surprise Public Libraries.
Very good. Welcome, Kelsey.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. It seems like I was just here, but time flies when you're having fun. The last time I was here, I was super excited to tell you about how our department was 3 people, and as of Monday, we've grown more than 200%, which is a phenomenal segue into my staffing update. So that 200% growth is phenomenal, but next Monday, it's even greater because we will be 33 out of 34 positions filled, which is quite a few people. That's our full library division. So the one position that we haven't filled yet is our courier, because up until Monday, we haven't been in our library. So we don't have any books to actually be driving around. So we will fill that position in the coming months. I would like to give a brief shout out to our Human Resources Department. Over the last few weeks, we've hosted more than 100 interviews. So they were fantastic. They helped us navigate that process to make sure we hired the best candidates and it all fit within our deadline. So big shout out to our internal partners there. One of our other big staffing updates is, as we did this, a lot of the concerns we were hearing from residents is that they loved their favorite local librarian and they didn't want them to go away. So we are very excited to tell you that many of those county employees actually opted to come and be employed by the city. So come next week when we open our libraries, you'll still see a lot of those same friendly faces. So as I mentioned, on Monday, we officially take over operations. So our full staff will be here ready to go. Operation and programming is another update we can give you guys. So as a baseline, we're using existing programming. So we're not going to take anything away to start. So all of your story times, your Tai Chi, Benevilla, blood drives, if it was there in the last 6 months, it will be there for the coming months until we can really figure out, do you guys love those programmings? Do you want to do something different? And that's where we'll start to tailor those programming to figure out exactly what it is we want the future of Surprise Public Libraries. With that, we're going to restore some programming. So we had heard that there were a few different specialized story times, some book clubs that went away. So we've been taking diligent notes, and we'll be sure to bring those back as the residents wish. And then one of the other benefits of the city-operated libraries is that we'll have new programming opportunities. So some of the quick, easy ones is doing stuff with police and fire. I've been working with Kristen. We'll figure out how to get some trash truck out there, anything that the kids enjoy. And in addition, we're also seeking patron ideas. So we don't know that they've really had a great voice in figuring out what's happening in their libraries. This is their opportunity to send an email to myself, to our city librarian, and say, hey, I've always wanted to have bunco class. There is nothing that prohibits us from doing that. So even if it's a one-off class, we have the opportunity to test it out, see if it works. If it does, great, we'll keep doing it. If it doesn't, bring on the next ideas. One of the other updates that I'm excited is our upgrade project. So Surprise Regional, formerly known as Northwest Regional, will be closed for 2 weeks because we are going to give it a little bit of a facelift. So in phase 1, we're going to give it brand new carpet, brand new paint. So the color blocks that you see on there, my favorite is the blue. The official term for that one is blueberry pie. We picked it for the appearance and not the name, so that's just a bonus. So that'll be your accent color. The white is silver feather, so that'll give it a little bit of a brighter feel. And to the far right is your carpet tile. It looks a little bit dark in the photo, but it's more of a dark gray with some blue accents. So that'll be phase 1. Those will be ready to go by the time we open on March 3rd. In addition, we also have been able to budget for new LED lighting, which will make it bright and cheery in there. Our staff favorite, which is a water fountain with the water bottle filling station, as well as new blinds and sunshades. So we have got to our HD TV portion, where I'm going to show you the before and after photos with my phenomenal Photoshop skills. So this is what Surprise Regional looks like today. This is your main area. And this is what it will look like on March 3rd. I know, genius, I'm the Arts, Culture, and Library Director, but look at these Photoshop skills. So you can see that we got a little bit of different carpet here. The white paint is really gonna brighten it up. Also, if you can see kind of up around the top, you see those windows. Right now, those are just kind of some shades that drop down. We have been able to budget for those sunshades, so we'll actually have a little motorized shade. So if it's a beautiful sunny day, we can open it up. If it gets hot because it's summer in Arizona, we can drop it down. So that's just one of kind of the cool things that we're looking forward to promoting. Here is kind of some of the backspace along the wall. Boom, there's some brand new carpet. I know, it's amazing. It's the little things in life. So it'll be great. You can see that we have a little bit of a darker carpet, but with the fresh sunlight, it doesn't really make it too dark in there. And then last but not least, here's our children's programming area. Oh, look at this color. We're inspiring the young mind. So we're excited to get in there, put a little splash of paint, a little bit of carpet. The bonus of this carpet is it makes our facilities team really happy because dark carpet is much easier to keep clean. So we think that this little bit of a facelift is something that's going to, give our residents a brand new look. It's going to really differentiate between, boom, this is Surprise Public Libraries, and in a very positive light of here's what can happen when the city gets involved and can make some really positive changes. All right, so you may have caught that I am closing one of our favorite libraries for 2 weeks. So the great news is you're going to get all of those facility upgrades. As an added bonus, we're only kind of closed. So we are working with what we have termed inside out libraries. So we know that that library is frequented thousands of times a week. So it's very important that we do not train our residents to stop going to the library. So you will still be able to pick up your holds. So you can go online, you can make all of your reservations. We're going to send a librarian in to get your books into our little construction site, and then you can pick them up in our lobby. In addition, we'll have some small collection areas, so we'll pick a random assortment of books so you can come in, check it out, see what our librarians suggest you read. We'll also do special programming, so we're working on maybe doing some programming outside since it's beautiful in the later month of February there. For the weather's going to cooperate, hopefully for us. But so kind of looking at those things that we can still keep people engaged, as well as Asante and Hollyhock will remain open. So it's also a great opportunity to see some of the other beautiful facilities in the city. Another update, so we will continue working with the Maricopa County Library District through July 1st, and truly beyond that as well. So it's important to us that our messaging is it's now the Surprise Public Library and county. We are actually, in many cases, doubling and increasing the amount of amenities that were offered to our residents. So in terms of e-resources, if there's an e-resource that the county provides, we're going to provide a different one so that increases all of the amenities that we can provide. So as of this coming Monday, February 13th, All operations, programming, and staffing will be provided by Surprise Public Library. Due to some software challenges, we can't actually transition that over until July 1st. So we're in the process of doing it, but we're also in an agreement with Maricopa County to ensure that we can continue using their software to make sure that our residents don't notice a lapse in services. And then I believe this is my last update. So one of the really exciting things that we're working on next is a library card design contest. So we've recently extended that deadline to May 1st, but we're asking that anyone that has a little bit of artistic skill, and as you can see from my Photoshop skills, I'm setting the bar very low. But we will have a children's, a teen, and adult categories. And we want our residents to design our first public library card. So we'll choose a winner from those three, and then those will actually be printed and will be able to be selected as your first library card. So you can visit surpriseaz.gov/library to download that entry form, and then you can drop it off at City Hall. You can email it to library@surpriseaz.gov. Any way we can get it, we're in. So we're looking forward to receiving those. And then we do have a few frequently asked questions. So one of them is, will I still have access to the county collection? The answer is absolutely. Until July 1st, all of our collection is going to stay exactly the same. Following that, we're going to look for ways that we can make sure that we partner with the county to figure out what that looks like. Continued access to e-resources. So as I mentioned, you're still a resident of Maricopa County. Your library card will still get you access to the exact same resources. Nothing will change. You'll use the same library card, same e-resources, and then ideally we'll add a few more e-resources on there. Library card, so you'll still continue to use your county library card until July 1st. Room reservations, so that's something that we're really excited to open up. So we have a few different rooms in all three of the libraries. If a resident wants to host their own book club or any other hobby activity, we're going to open up those reservations, and there will be an online way that you can then reserve those. And then similar to the programs, we're also asking for any book suggestions, additions to the collection. We're hiring a collection development team. So if there is an obscure book out there that you've been dying to read and can't find it, let us know and we can make that happen for you. And with that, that's enough frequently asked questions and comments from me, comments and questions from you.
Councilwoman Klein.
Hi, I'm so excited. This is going to be amazing. Do you know when your room reservation process will go live, or approximately when that will go live? And if so, do you know if there will be a charge for room reservations?
So we don't have an exact date because that's kind of tied into the software system, because the fun thing about libraries is everything is built off of one software system. So that's one of our add-ons to that system. But with that said, it's as easy as sending an email to library@surpriseaz.gov in the meantime, and it will be our intentional policy moving forward that any of our services will be free of charge.
Perfect. I know some homeschool parents who are groups that would love to take advantage of that. So thank you very much. I know they'll be appreciative, and I think it's going to look great. I'm very excited.
Send them our way.
Great. I don't see any more questions, Kelsey. Good job. And I know you're building a real enthusiastic team.
We're having some fun out there. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, item number 14.
The presentation discussion pertain to Arizona's open meeting law.
Gee, why are we doing this one?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On January 17th, when Councilman Hastings asked for an open meeting law presentation, I indicated, I think I can find a lawyer. I found one hanging around the city attorney's office like a stray cat after you feed him. But no. I have to give Jeff a hard time from time to time because he reciprocates all the time with me.
Yeah.
But for those of you that don't know him, it's with great pleasure to introduce Jeff Murray. He's been with the city since 2018. When I somehow miraculously recruited him, he was a partner at Sims and Murray, who was providing municipal legal services to cities statewide. But after some miscalculations and blundering by myself, which drew out the recruitment process for probably like a year and a half, he somehow graciously agreed to come and work for the city attorney's office. So with that, I'm going to turn over the presentation to him.
Welcome, Jeff.
Thank you, Mayor.
There we go. There's a clicker somewhere. Right here.
Mayor and Vice Mayor, Council, good to be here tonight. I will tell you what I used to tell my juries when I was still trying cases, and that is, I'm sorry, because for the next several minutes, you're stuck with me. And unfortunately, as Robert mentioned, I was voluntold through the short straw process that I'm doing open meeting law training for you folks. So I told him I could do it in 10 minutes. He suggested it not go shorter than 3 hours. So everybody rest up, get your water, get your snacks. We're going to be here a while. We'll see if we can go a little bit faster than that. All right, so as you all know, this is a very broadly applicable topic, certainly to bodies, public bodies all over the state of Arizona. You guys are no stranger to what requires an open meeting, right? So the presentation I'm going to give you tonight is very high level. It's very general. It's a presentation that's been prepared for kind of all of our boards and commissions. That way we keep all of our advice similar right across, and it doesn't matter what lawyer you get. And tonight, unfortunately, my apologies, you got me. So, you know, as we go through these, obviously you guys will have some questions. Make sure I can work this thing. And I'll do my best to answer those, but I will tell you quite candidly that there are three ways. Certainly there's legislative intent based on the 9 or 10 statutes that are applicable to open meeting law. There's attorney general opinions that interpret those statutes. And then of course there's case law. And neither of those three are particularly clear. Sometimes the attorney general may say two different things in two different paragraphs in the same opinion. And you're left kind of scratching your head. What does that mean? So I will tell you what an old contracts professor of mine used to say. Trust your gut, right? If you think a message that you're delivering might run afoul of the open meeting law, if you think you might be engaging in deliberations or discussions that are better served for an open public meeting after it's been properly agendized, stop what you're doing, put it on an agenda, and have that discussion in public. Trust your gut. That's the simplest thing. And the reason for that, as you can see up there, is we're going to open the window into what governments do. That's what the open meeting law is all about. So these fine folks in the audience can come, they can understand why you're making the decisions you're making, how you arrived at those decisions, and how we're ultimately getting to a final decision. That's legal action, which we'll get to some of the definitions. So I don't want to bore you with the definitions, but you can see all meetings of any public body must be public meetings, and all persons so desiring shall be permitted to attend. A legal action, read it because I don't have my glasses on. All legal action of public bodies must occur during the public meeting. Simple as that. Very, very broad, very, very high level. Again, if you're about to send an email, if you're about to hit a tweet, if you're about to hit an Instagram post, if you're about to do a thumbs up, who is the message? Who is the recipient? Is it 3 other council members? Is it going to be a quorum? Does that give you a little feeling in the pit of your stomach? Trust your gut, hold off, think twice before doing that. Purpose of the open meeting, very, very broad, to ensure that the public has an opportunity to observe what the government is doing. Fairly high level, fairly simple. Now we get into kind of the policy, right? The Arizona legislature has said it is the public policy of the state of Arizona to have open, public, transparent meetings. Just remember that, open, public, transparent meetings. If there's ever a question and somebody files a complaint with the Arizona Ombudsman, if they file a complaint with the Arizona Attorney General's office, they're going to initially look at that complaint through the lens of the Arizona public policy, open, public, transparent. So always be thinking, okay, if somebody else is looking at this for the first time independently, how are they going to see it? We can read through those notices and agendas. Obviously, you guys are pretty good with all of that stuff. This is fairly high level again, but the public has to know what's going to be discussed. And then when they come to the discussion, they have to know how you got there. The meeting, the definition of meeting is where it starts to get a little bit murky. So it's the gathering in person or through technological devices of a quorum, 4, of the public body at which they discuss, propose, or take legal action, including any deliberations by a quorum with respect to such action. Be very, very careful if you have a group text, or you have an Instagram, or you got to know who your followers are. If you have a Facebook or a Meta post, who's allowed to read that? Is it open to everybody? And I will tell you, in 2007, the Attorney General issued an opinion on speaking to the media. So speaking to the media does not have the same limits as an email directly targeted to a quorum of the council. So there's a difference between an 05 AG opinion on emails and an 07 AG opinion on speaking to the media. Now, this is, as I said, it gets a little bit murky. So when you have a quorum, you can all be in the same room. Or you might have Zoom, or you might have WebEx. But where it really gets tricky is when you have serial meetings. One council member talks to another council member, and then council member A talks to council member C, and then council member A talks to council member D. Well, now 4 of you have had a conversation about the same thing. Now it's starting to get a little bit tricky. That's probably a good time to not have that 4th conversation. Go ahead and put it on an agenda, have the conversation in person. So we have phone calls, we have emails, we have serial meetings, as I just discussed, we have social events, and then of course we have social media. Be careful liking. This is an emergent area of the law, which I just discussed very, very briefly. So I think, one of the things the Arizona Agency Handbook says, and I'll just read it to you. I quoted it because I think it goes back to the whole state policy. Put simply, all discussions, deliberations, considerations, or consultations among a majority of the members of the public body regarding matters that may foreseeably require final action or final decision constitute a quote-unquote legal action and therefore must be conducted in a public meeting. So it's kind of that just remember the public policy, and then you should at least be going in the right direction in terms of, does this need to be on an agenda, or can we go ahead and have these conversations? So again, probably no need to read through all of these specifically, but very, very basic stuff. No legal action can be taken unless it's in public. That requires or includes, even when you come out of an executive session, you have to then take the legal action, right? Robert will certainly walk you through that when you guys get into there. Alternative letters, or alternative communications, letters, blogs, media, social media. Now, this one, as I just mentioned, probably needs to be updated just a little bit for the media portion. It's a little bit different when you're talking to a reporter, newspaper, radio. And I'll tell you why the AG has found that way. Because if you're truly talking to a media member who's going to disseminate your comments, that is essentially the same action and intent as what the open meeting law is trying to do, right? It's encouraging open discussion. So when you talk to the media, it's open, as opposed to an email targeted to 3 of your friends on the council, or 4 of your friends, or 5 of your friends, right? It's not open. And so the overarching thing to remember is, don't do it in secret, let the public see it. It's really that simple. Now, the council, obviously, you guys can communicate with staff. You can tell the staff what you want to see on the agenda. But what you can't do is instruct staff member A to go talk to council member B and council member C and tell them what I said and tell them what he said and then tell them what she said, right? Now we're starting to splinter, we're starting to daisy chain, we're starting the wheel and spoke, as you'll see in a couple of slides here, and that's what we have to be very, very careful not to do. So this is sending an email to a quorum, as you all know. Again, high-level stuff, my apologies. Don't daisy chain the spoken wheel. Don't have all the information come back to you. Even if it was from outside people, that still counts. You're still violating the law. Consensus building is not permitted outside of the meeting. Use caution with emails and telephone calls. And during the meeting, as you all know, and you guys are fantastic, stay on track. That's it. You know, and as Robert mentioned, I used to work for the pool. In fact, I represented you guys several times. But one of the things I used to get with a lot of the smaller cities and towns is they would kind of give a general agenda. And then when the meeting happened, man, they were all over the place, right? And you're just sitting there cringing. You're just hoping like this doesn't go really awry. Again, this is not an issue that applies to you guys. You're fine, but the agenda is kind of the Bible for each and every meeting. Follow it. Executive sessions, as you know, as you guys have all experienced with Robert, you have to have a majority to go in, the vote. Only members of the public body are allowed. And the same thing with the executive session minutes. Those are also privileged. Minutes must be taken by law, but those are privileged and confidential and cannot be shared by anybody other than who was in the room, with some limited exceptions. Legal advice, litigation, I think there's 7 things for executive sessions. Probably don't need to go through all of them. Confidential records, negotiations with trade or tribal organizations and interstate organizations. Discussion only. Council can give legal counsel, the city council can give legal counsel some direction on some issues. Certainly the lawyer can give advice to the city council. Very high level, very basic stuff. There are civil penalties for violating the law, as you guys all know. And one of the tricky things is that last bullet point. The city cannot represent you. So even though you're doing city business, you're on city time, you're city representatives, if you start to run afoul of the open meeting law, you're on your own. So that's a good admonition for lawyers. Lawyers like to give it because as a representative of the city, oh, I saved my city some liability. Meanwhile, you just hung one of the council members out to dry. So be careful so that we don't have to have those very difficult conversations. There was a couple things I wanted to go back to, and I think I covered them, and we may not need to cover them, but otherwise I will open it up. I do want to repeat, in the public meeting is when you take legal action. The definition of legal action and the interpretation of that definition is worth a little bit of discussion, just so you guys can kind of hear it. It means a collective decision, commitment, or promise made by a public body. But what the AG has said, it extends beyond the formal act of voting. Discussions, deliberations by a governing body members prior to the final decision are integral and a necessary part of any decision, commitment, or promise, and therefore are part of the legal action. So it's not enough to just come into the council and take final action and say, we did our legal action in public. It's that discussion and deliberation that the public is entitled to hear, and is entitled to know, that is all part of the legal action. And as you can see, this all bleeds into the overarching public policy of open, transparent government. And so that's how a lot of these opinions and decisions read. If you boil it down to their very, very low level, very simplistic, what is the court trying to say? What is the attorney general trying to say? Ultimately, they're trying to say, you should have done that in public so that everybody could understand how you got there, how you got to the legal action. See if there's anything else that you absolutely positively have to hear before Robert yells at me for not going my full allotted 3 hours. There is, as I mentioned, although I mentioned it fairly briefly, and so we have to be careful. Meetings can happen over time. And so if council member A reaches out to council member B on Monday, and then a couple months later, the issue is still alive and it's the same issue, and now he's reaching out to council member C or council member D, we probably are going to have a problem. So be very, very careful. Just because the passage of time, and I don't know that there's a bright line. I don't know that 1 year makes a difference. I don't know that 1 month makes a difference. If it's the same council, the same members, the same issue, I would tread lightly. I think we're getting very, very close. And now I will fail miserably to answer your questions, but I give you the lawyerly caveat that some of this stuff is not exactly clear. So even if I had read everything and memorized it, I still may not be able to answer your very creative questions. And I will tell you what a good plaintiff's lawyer you will make based on the creativity of your questions. And so keep them non-creative. And so an old rube like me can just give you a simple answer. Don't make it difficult.
Right. Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks, Jeff, for putting this on. And thanks to my colleagues for sitting through. I know we would have been out here 15 minutes earlier, but with Councilman Haney starting, and I just thought it would be a good time to just have I know it's just good to have refreshers on this type of stuff. And I think there's definitely obvious infractions, if the entire city council is meeting in the basement the night before of a vote discussing what they're going to do, that's obviously wrong. But I think too, sometimes the splintering and the time limits, and what if you have a conversation about this and the same issue comes up a year later, and so I'll leave it to Robert. He gets paid the big bucks to answer the really tough questions. But I just want to say thanks for putting this on. And thanks.
I appreciate that. And I do apologize to you, Councilman Hastings, and the entire council for going a little bit quick and playing it a little bit lighthearted. Obviously, this is important information. But if you get down into the weeds of it, it can be quite droll. And so I was trying to avoid that. But make no mistake, complying with the open meeting law is no laughing matter. I mean, it is essential. And I think, one of the things I felt a little bit more comfortable about going a little bit quicker is I don't have any concerns about you guys, candidly. I gave this same presentation or a little modification of it to Parks and Rec a few months ago. And, when you don't have council members, sometimes you have to take a little more time and delve into the high level things just so they fully understand what's happening.
Right. Councilman Remley.
Thank you, Mayor. My question is, or comment, we didn't define what a public body is. And I think there's misconceptions in the community of what a public body is. I know that we have at least 60 homeowners associations that believe it doesn't apply to them. I believe that they have committees, such as architectural committees, that believes it doesn't apply to them. And even possibly within our own city, our commissions and boards may not know that it applies to them. So if you would, please define what a public body is so that the other folks that don't happen to be present here in the council chambers can know what that is.
Councilman Rembley, you are on the verge of getting your law license to be a creative plaintiff's attorney. I will tell you, if I can find it here quickly, it is statutory. There is a statutory definition of what a public body is. I know the Arizona Ombudsman, which we have a hyperlink on our city front page on our website, takes you right to their site. I will tell you, they do not investigate alleged complaints of HOA violations. But if you want the exact definition, I'm going to have to look it up and try to give you at least the statutory reference. I will tell you, the good news is that any complaints regarding the HOA would have to be handled, if it's going to be handled by anybody, would have to be handled, thank you, by the Attorney General's. We would not prosecute that. We would not enforce that as a city. I understand your constituents may be reaching out to you to complain about such things, but that's a little bit outside of what the city would enforce. Okay, so according to 431-6, and thank you to my boss that volunteered me to be here and not answer this question. I'm kidding. It is ARS 38431, paragraph 6. It is the definition of public body. It means the legislature, all boards and commissions of this state or political subdivisions, all multi-member governing bodies or of departments, agencies, institutions, and instrumentalities of this state or political subdivisions, including, without limitation, all corporations or other instrumentalities whose boards of directors are appointed or elected by the state or a political subdivision. It goes on. Let me finish. Public body includes all quasi-judicial bodies and all standing, special, or advisory committees or subcommittees of or appointed by the public body. Public body includes all commissions and other public entities established by the Arizona Constitution or by way of ballot initiative, including the Independent Redistricting Commission, and this article applies except only to the extent that specific constitutional provisions supersede this article. Clear?
Perfect.
Again, when the questions come in, please give us a little bit of time to try and figure out what the statutory definition even means. I think it's safe to say, as I was reading and trying to think, which is always very dangerous, I don't think your HOA would necessarily fall under that, but that is not legal advice because I'm not their lawyer, I'm your lawyer. So you can direct them to the statute and let them figure it out.
Well, one thing that you did mention, the board of a homeowners association is elected, which makes them a public body.
Okay. I'll say okay.
Because that does say elected. So they are a membership that represents usually many, many times their number and really impacts the life of the membership of that public body. So
Yes, they do.
yeah,
Yeah, I think we all can attest to that. Yes, they do.
thank you.
Really quick, Councilman Rimley. Attorney General has an opinion found at 97-012, and it says, because they are not governmental public bodies, homeowners associations are not covered by the open meeting law. They must, however, comply with separate notification requirements, and those are set forth in the Arizona Revised Statutes. Those requirements must be enforced privately because the Attorney General and county attorneys, and I would add city attorneys, have no jurisdiction over such matters. But rest assured, all of our boards and commissions, the open meeting laws apply to them, and we provide them with annual training. Any board or commission, advisory, not advisory of the city definitely is a public body for our purposes.
Okay. All right. Councilwoman Klein.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, I want to thank Jack for bringing this up. And Robert, thank you for your support. When we were getting together and talking about boards and commissions and the handbook for the review process for the boards and commission, which we also expand, we reviewed the process for the council, but we also added boards and commission this last year. And I think it's really important, just as a quick review, to go over the process just to make sure that each individual that's involved in these organizations understands that they are then representing the city in their deliberations of what they're talking about, whether it's P&Z or whether it will be the new library commission that we have talking about the library, or whether it's Parks and Recs. There's a number of commissions. And so when we had our meetings, they were publicly noticed. No one came, but we were there, and there was a place for people to come in should they choose to, so that we could actually talk about the process and making sure that we were having our discussions about what we wanted to look at and how we wanted it reviewed. And Robert put in a whole lot of work. We made him work really, really hard. So just so you know, we can make him work really, really hard if we need to. But he did
works
a great.
hard. You know,
He did it.
I tease him,
Yeah.
but trust me.
But he did a really great job, and I think it was the purpose of this is to bring forth to those organizations that see that we do all of our communications and our conversations are out there for everybody to see what we talk about. We're not doing any backroom deals or behind closed drapes or whatever, you know, the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. We're all really out there for people to understand what we're talking about and what we're doing. So I think it's great that you took the time to do this, and I really appreciate it. And again, thank you, Robert, for your support of us when we're talking about boards and commissions. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And Mayor, may I follow up on that
Sure.
just briefly? And one of the things I probably should have told you all is even if you're sending that email or that text message, don't forget that is a public record,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
And so they very much tie together. So even if even if you were to think, oh, well, I'll just send it to Council Member B, no one will know about it. That's still a public record. So be
Right.
cognizant of that.
That's right.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Yes. Okay, that's it. Good job.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay, would anybody would anybody like to put something on a future agenda?
I'm not talking to any of you, ever.
No? Okay.
Thank you, Mayor.
Let's start with.
I would
Oh,
like
yeah,
to,
what?
I would like to have a presentation either as part of a city manager's report or as a possibly as a work session item. The Salvation Army is in the process of building a new community center here in Surprise that's available to the residents
Right.
over on Avenue of the Arts by their regional center. And I know that the captain would like to come and tell us about it and what's going on and what they're planning on doing. The city doesn't have any facilities anywhere close to that area, and it's pretty underserved for the kids.
Right.
So they're in the process now, just started on building a new community center over there. So the captain would like to come and would like to have that added to either city manager report or as a work session item, depending on how city manager and you feel about
Okay.
it.
Can you do that, Tracy?
I can second that.
Okay. Very good. Very good. Let's do council reports. Let's start with Councilman Hastings.
Thank you, Mayor. Not much tonight. My meet and greet next week originally fell on Valentine's Day. Now, I enjoy being married, very much so. And so I decided to move that to Wednesday, February 15th, which will be at 6 p.m., same place, same time, State 48. And if I have to call them 3 times to remind them to reserve a room, I will do it, because the last couple times we've been stranded. But the restaurant's great. I'm just kidding. But we've got to have a place to meet. So looking forward to that, and that's all I got.
All righty. Councilman Remley.
Thank you, Mayor. Our city is growing so fast, we hardly have time to attend all of the ribbon cuttings that are going on every week, honest to Pete. If anybody's been up by Prasada, everything's going warp speed over there. And I'm just just thrilled to death and very humbled to be part of this council. That's all I have to say today.
All right, thank you. Councilman Duffy.
Thank you, Mayor. That's exactly what I was going to mention, is everything that's happening in Persada. So 4 stores opened. So Sprouts is open, Five Below opened, one of my favorites, Total Wine opened, and Floor and Decor is open.
Taco Bell.
Well, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm not going to admit I go there. Just because I look like I do doesn't mean I do. And every time, I mean, even the next meeting, I'll have more that are coming open the 23rd and then in March. So go check those new places out. We went to Five Below on Sunday. Everything's $5 or less.
Is it?
The kids love it.
Yeah.
It's a good place. They have, you can get a basketball for $5, but you know they're going to throw into a bush with a thorn, so it's going to go flat.
Right.
So instead of spending $20 on it somewhere, just get a rubber one at Five Below. It worked. So that go check those 4 out. Thank you.
Very good. Councilman Haney.
You juked me out a little bit there, Mayor. I was thinking the order and.
Listen, Rookie.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mayor. First thing, Sonoran Heights, February 16th. Councilman Hastings said it beautifully. I also like to stay married. I already ran for office during our first year of marriage, so I'm not going to tempt her to leave me anytime soon. So our second community meeting will be at Sonoran Heights on the 16th at 6 o'clock. My goal, like I said in the previous council meeting, is to have one meeting north of area of the district and the other one south. So it'll be at 6 o'clock. If you're planning on attending, please reach out. My goal is to make it worth your time. And so if there's a specific topic that you want us to discuss or you want an update on, please let me know. We had our first meeting at Asante Library up north, and it was standing room only. We packed it with 40 people, but it was very, very good. The discussions were good. Thank you to staff that attended. I think we were able to provide the residents with some updates and also explain to them. A lot of times we see things not happening, and we think that the city may not be working on it. But after our discussion, it seemed like a lot of residents were pleased to know that there are things in the works. And my goal is to continue providing those updates for them so they know that we hear them, we're working on it, and we're going to keep pushing forward with some solutions. So, that's the best part of this job is those community meetings. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to the second one. I did a ribbon cutting ceremony at Dutch Bros. I get accused of having a lot of energy. They beat me times 10, but it was very exciting. It was my first one I was able to attend other than the fields. So that was great. And then I also was able to do an interview with the youth council, which was a lot of fun. Back to my roots. I was a member of the youth council. And so it was really cool to be able to go back there and talk to them. And hopefully they still think I'm the coolest council member. That's what they said in the interview.
They haven't talked to
Yeah.
me.
They haven't talked to me. All right. Yeah.
Hold your horses.
So you're their favorite out of one?
Yeah, we'll keep it that way for now. Yeah, I got to put my firefighter hat on. Obviously, we have a big event on Sunday. Please be responsible, drive safely. Don't ruin someone's entire life by killing their loved one because you're not responsible drinking and driving. So stay at home or Uber, but please be safe. And then my last thing, Mayor, is I want to give a shout out to my 2 favorite residents who also helped raise me. My Grammy and Papa are in the audience tonight. So my Grammy has told me she's going to attend every single council meeting, so I have a friendly face. And so here we are. So this is her first one and of many. So if you see her, please say hello. She had to deal with raising me, so that's a lot. But that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
All right. Wow. Very good. Councilwoman Klein.
Well, gosh, I was kind of busy this month. I'll make it fast, Duffy. I had 3 community meetings this month. The 24th was my regular meeting at Grand. The 27th was my bi-monthly meeting at Arizona Traditions, and they have asked that we make that meeting monthly. So I'm very excited about that. On the 30th, we had our second meeting with the Arizona Sign Language group. So everyone who signed, we had interpreters on the 30th, and we had a great turnout for all of those groups. So I'm very excited about that. Yesterday, we had, I attended an event for the Arizona Special Olympics. Valley Vista was named as one of the top 25 Special Olympic teams. And the mayor, Vice Mayor Judd, Councilmember Hastings and Haney were there with me, so we had a great time at that. Today, I was at the West Valley Women meeting. It was Take a Gentleman to Lunch Day, and the place was packed. It was at Arizona Broadway Theater, and the mayor and I attended, got a chance to meet a lot of the folks from around the community, a lot of the electeds. So that was kind of exciting. I have a new meeting tomorrow. The La Solana board and their organization has asked me to come and chat, so that's a new meeting, and I don't know how that will turn out as a quarterly or a regular meeting of some kind. And then my regular meeting this month, pardon me, my regular meeting this month is on February 28th at Sun City Grand, which is now calling themselves the Grand at Surprise. We went for their ribbon cutting too, at 6 p.m. in the Pima Room. And tomorrow night, we'll be having a number of city officials to participate in the bookmark judging contest that is part of my nonprofit organization, Friends of the Surprise Library. So we have a big pile of bookmarks to review and judge. And of course, we have a Mayor's Choice Award, so he'll have a chance to look through all of those to select those. So that's all I have at the moment. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Vice Mayor Judd.
Thank you, Mayor. So there's been a gazillion ribbon cuttings the past month, and if you're not following economic development social media pages, you need to start because we can't keep track of the things that we've done, it seems. The one that I want to give a shout out to, one in kind of in my district, sort of in Jack's district, I guess, Quench Taps and Tapas.
Yes.
It was a really cool little place. It's a little wine bar. It's not sporty at all. In fact, I don't think there's any televisions in there, but it's wine and appetizers. So it's small, it's quiet. Groups of more than 4 aren't allowed in there. So it's a great place. If you like that kind of thing, go check it out. It's a great mom and pop outfit. Duffy and I hosted possibly our last joint meet and greet at Spencer's place, and we packed it out again, mostly residents from his district. I don't know what you're doing to make them all so mad. But looking for more meeting space. I think we'll probably still keep meeting together, but we just need a bigger place. And Duffy's got a cool spot he's looking at that we might move over to. My next community meeting is going to be Wednesday in 2 weeks at the Tap House at 6 p.m. So if you have any great questions, just want to come yell at your council person, come on out and let me have it. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I just want to repeat some of these ribbon cuttings have been amazing, but the one that really amazed me was the Sprouts ribbon cutting was at 6:30 in the morning, and it was 42 degrees outside, and there were 400 people. Oh my God. People told me, why are they having a ribbon cutting at 6:30 in the morning? Nobody's going to be there. The line was around, it was unbelievable. I've never been to a ribbon cutting all the time I've been on the council like that ribbon cutting. It was incredible. I thought it was an Apple store inside or something, the new Apple product. Jeez. Anyway, but Surprise is in the process of updating the General Plan 2040 and asking for the community's input. This document provides direction for the next decade, addressing items from land use and open space to transportation and services. For more information, visit the surprisegpupdate.com. So that's surprisegpupdate.com. Then I want to let you know the 3rd annual Care and Share Expo, put on by Seth and his group, will be held on Saturday, March 4th, 2023. This year's all ages event will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Surprise Aquatic Center parking lot, North Bullard Avenue. This free event is one-stop source for accessing programs and services that promote health, financial growth, and self-empowerment. Plus, there will be a lot of fun for the entire family. So that's all I got. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
What's that?
None of us want to go.
None of them want to go.
Second.
Did you make the motion, Jack? Okay. Second? Okay, it's moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. We're adjourned.